One day, a little rabbit lost its way to its home. Its mother was so scared that her baby was in danger of being bitten by some wild animal that she rushed to her nest. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Friends, now let's listen to another story. Friends, from today onwards, always be grateful for everything you have in your life and don't be sad for the things you don't have. If you like the stories, share this video with your family and friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. One day, a little rabbit was wandering on its way home. But the rabbit lost its way to its home and didn't know where it was going. It was stuck in the forest. The forest doesn't know it's gone, and neither does the rabbit know where its home is. As the sun begins to set, the rabbit becomes increasingly frightened. The trees appear to be closing in on it and whispering secrets in the growing darkness. With each rustle of leaves, the rabbit thinks it hears its own name being called. But when it turns around, there is nothing there. The rabbit continues to wander through the darkening woods, its heart pounding in its chest. It tries to remember the way home, but every path looks the same to its scared eyes. Just when it thinks it can't go on any longer, it sees a glimmer of light in the distance. With renewed hope, the rabbit runs toward the light, thinking it might lead to safety. But as it gets closer, it realizes it's just a trick of the light and there's nothing there. The rabbit is about to give up hope when suddenly it hears a voice calling its name. At first it thinks it's just its imagination, but the voice calls out again and again, and the rabbit can't help but respond. As it follows the sound of the voice, it feels a sense of relief knowing that someone or something is out there in the darkness. But as it gets closer, the rabbit begins to feel uneasy. The voice seems to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, and the rabbit can't shake the feeling that it's being watched. One day, a little rabbit was wandering on its way home, but the rabbit lost its way to its home and didn't know where it was going. It was stuck in the forest. The forest doesn't know it's gone, and night has fallen. The little rabbit gets scared and starts to cry. No one was there to listen to his cries. He sat alone in the dark forest and was very frightened. No one knew that the rabbit had gotten lost. When the fox dropped the rabbit off at his mother's house, the rabbit's mother was so relieved to see him. She hugged him tightly and asked him why he had stayed out so late. The rabbit explained to his mother what had happened, and she was so grateful to the fox for bringing him home. She offered the fox some food and water, and he gladly accepted it. After the fox left, the rabbit's mother scolded him for staying out so late and promised him that she would never let it happen again. The rabbit apologized to his mother and promised to be more careful in the future. The next day, the rabbit was telling his friends about his encounter with the fox. He explained how he had managed to convince the fox to bring him home and how his mother had taken care of him afterwards. His friends were amazed by his bravery and thanked him for saving them from a potential danger. The rabbit was happy to have made his friends proud, but he knew that he had learned a valuable lesson from the experience. He had realized that it's important to listen to your mother and never stay out too late. He also learned that even in the scariest situations, it's important to stay calm and think of a plan. If he hadn't been brave and quick-witted, he might have ended up in big trouble. But instead, he had managed to escape from a dangerous situation and return home safely. The rabbit continued to tell his friends about his adventure as they all played together in the forest. And as the sun set, he knew that he would never forget this day. One day, a little rabbit was wandering on its way home, but the rabbit lost its way to its home and didn't know where it was going. It was stuck in the forest. The forest doesn't know it's gone, and night has fallen, and now it is raining. What will happen to the poor rabbit? Let's find out in today's story. Once upon a time, deep in the woods, there lived a little rabbit. He lived in a small burrow with his mother. The rabbit loved playing outside his burrow. One sunny afternoon, the little rabbit decided to go for a walk in the forest. "I'm going for a walk, Mom," he said to his mother. "Be careful, my son, and don't stay out too late," his mother replied. The little rabbit nodded and set off on his walk. As the little rabbit was walking through the forest, he came across a beautiful flower. He stopped to smell the flower when suddenly a butterfly flew past him. The butterfly was so beautiful that the little rabbit decided to follow it. The butterfly led the rabbit deeper and deeper into the forest. The rabbit didn't realize that he was getting lost. He was too busy trying to catch the butterfly. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a little rabbit. He was known throughout the forest for his playful nature and his curiosity. One day, while playing near his burrow, the young rabbit discovered a hole. Excited by his discovery, he immediately jumped into it. However, as soon as he did, the earth rumbled and the hole collapsed behind him, trapping him inside. Fearful and desperate, the little rabbit began to scream for help. His cries echoed through the tunnels, hoping that someone would hear him and come to his rescue. But unfortunately, no one did. As the hours passed, the little rabbit became increasingly frightened. He was alone, scared, and with no way out of the tunnel. Just when he thought all hope was lost, he heard a faint sound coming from somewhere in the darkness. With renewed hope, the little rabbit hopped towards the sound, his heart pounding in his chest. As he approached, he could hear the sound more clearly. It was a sound of digging. Could it be that someone was coming to save him? With each passing moment, the sound grew louder, and the light at the end of the tunnel seemed to grow brighter. The little rabbit's heart raced with anticipation. Finally, he could see a small opening in the tunnel ahead. With all his strength, he pushed through it and found himself in a small chamber. In the center of the chamber stood a wise old owl who had been the source of the digging sound. The owl looked at the little rabbit with a knowing gaze and asked, "Why are you here?" The little rabbit, overcome with relief and gratitude, explained to the owl how he had gotten trapped in the tunnels and begged the owl to help him escape. The owl, known throughout the forest for his wisdom and kindness, understood the rabbit's plight. He hooted softly and said, "Don't worry, little rabbit, I will help you get out of here." The owl spread his wings and began to dig furiously at the entrance to the tunnel, creating a larger opening. With each stroke of his beak and claws, the owl brought the rabbit closer to freedom. The little rabbit watched in amazement as the opening grew larger and larger until finally he could see the light of day. Overcome with joy, the little rabbit scurried out of the tunnel and into the sunlight. He looked back at the owl and exclaimed, "Thank you, Mr. Owl. How can I ever repay you?" The owl smiled and replied, "You don't need to repay me, little rabbit. Just remember that no matter what troubles you may face in life, there is always hope. And sometimes all you need is a little help from a friend." The little rabbit nodded, understanding the owl's words. He had not only been saved from the tunnels, but he had also learned a valuable lesson about the importance of friendship and hope. From that day on, the little rabbit was never the same. He was more cautious and less impulsive. He also remembered the kindness of the wise old owl and the importance of helping others in need. And whenever he saw an owl in the forest, he would stop and pay his respects to the wise bird who had saved his life. So next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, remember the little rabbit and the wise old owl. Don't give up hope and reach out for help. You never know who might be there to lend a hand and guide you through the darkness. That's all for the day. Thank you for watching. See you next time.